Welcome, everyone. My name is Alejandro Rodriguez. I am so happy to be able to greet you and to welcome you to this tree dedication ceremony. I, along with about 70 members of First Church, were up at camp this weekend, and Tim and I drove down here this morning, and it was so incredible to be at camp in the spring when all the trees are in bloom. And as I was driving down here, down 71, the countryside was incredibly beautiful with all the trees that are so full. And to get to come here on the 5th anniversary of our park to celebrate and commemorate the trees that we're going to dedicate today is just such a treat. And I'm so thrilled that you are here with us. To get us started, I would like to invite Rabbi Emeritus Harold Berman to come and give our opening prayer.
Thank you and good afternoon. You've dragged me out here to church in the middle of Passover, which is a kind of mixed image here. But it's a powerful image, and so I will share what should be somewhat obvious. I've shared it before. Some of you have heard me say this before, but it's the lesson of Passover that we need to be reminded of. And that is, if you look at the biblical text, there are two things that are supposed to be connected to the Exodus from Egypt. And we too often forget about one of them. There are two things. One is letting the slaves go free. And the other is understanding the way the world is supposed to work and what justice and righteousness are in the eyes of God. And those are two things that are both repeated consistently in the Exodus story in the book of Exodus. And they're desperately important to remember. We celebrate too much about the slaves going free and forget about the lessons we're supposed to learn at our peril. And the same is true when we talk about social justice in America. When Martin Luther King Jr. stood in front of the Lincoln Memorial and spoke of his vision that someday his descendants would sit down with the descendants of slaveholders and join together in fellowship, he didn't mean that they would sit down together because the law would require them to. He meant that there would be a whole new understanding of the way people are supposed to be together, celebrate together, worship together, and share their social lives together. The law, changing the law, one thing very important, a lot of laws have been changed, not enough, but a lot. And please God, don't let anybody change them back. But the social need for people to sit down together and to recognize the humanity of each other is a lesson that's still imperfectly learned. And so we join together in this magnificent place to enhance it a little bit and celebrate its enhancement and dedicate ourselves to both of those critically important goals that go back 3,000 years or go back to the critical lessons of American history or the lessons of our own time. Yes, we need laws to change to make sure that justice is served. But social justice, which I believe is the name we're standing under, social justice means that people work together, share their thoughts, their ideas, their dreams, their passions together, and together build a better society for us all. So may that be our vision. May that be our goal. And please God, may that be our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Berman. We have the pleasure of hearing from a couple of speakers this morning. Afternoon. I'm sorry. I didn't sleep well last night. I was in a camp bunk. this afternoon. Council member Christopher Weish was planning on being here with us this morning, but unfortunately has a family emergency. So a member of his staff, Chelsea Golterman, is here to share some remarks on his behalf.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak on the council member's behalf and for inviting him to be here today to be part of this important event at this historic park. The council member is sorry that he was unable to make it and sends his best regards. Sorry. As you can tell, I'm not used to being the one giving a speech. I am usually behind the scenes. Currently, Columbus is one of the fastest growing heat islands in the country, which is affecting our health outcomes, economic health, wildlife, and the life expectancy within our most vulnerable communities. In addition to reducing energy use, improving air quality, and lowering greenhouse emissions, enhancing stormwater management and water quality, reducing pavement maintenance, and improving quality of life, trees help cool the environment, making increasing our tree canopy coverage an effective and simple way to reduce our urban heat. I'm happy to report that our Recreations and Parks Department is working diligently to preserve our existing tree canopy and increasing the number of our trees throughout all communities. Under the leadership of Director Bernita Reese, the department has created Columbus's first strategic long-term plan to invest in our trees, the Urban Forestry Master Plan. And we are already 3 years into implementation. Now, if a public tree has to be removed, steps are required to make up for the loss of that tree. Part of the public code updates included creating Columbus's first tree technical manual, a best practices manual that will guide the city and the community in following our updated code. The last time the code had been updated was in 1991. So it needed to reflect the goals of the Urban Forestry Master Plan and national standards. Last year, Columbus City Council passed landmark legislation to enshrine public tree protection into the city code. However, Columbus is not working alone. In February, the City of Columbus and Franklin County jointly unveiled the groundbreaking 2011 to 2021 tree canopy assessment, where data comprised from 16 cities, including Columbus, 9 villages, and 17 townships was used to study the entirety of Franklin County for the assessment, marking the first comprehensive examination of Central Ohio's trees and the evolving canopy over the past decade. Key findings for the City of Columbus included a 2.4% increase in tree canopy from 2011 to 2021, with 37% of non-forested land offering potential for tree planting. Our city is home to an estimated 4.8 million trees, which translates to 5 trees per resident. However, distribution is uneven across communities. The Urban Forestry Master Plan will help us address these inequities through 3 major goals. First, to invest equitably in tree canopies, as I mentioned, in all neighborhoods. Secondly, to stop the net loss of trees currently. And last, but certainly not least, to increase our coverage to 40% by 2050. That's practically doubling our trees over the next few decades. Today we have 22% coverage, making projects like this dedication critical to helping us achieve our goals. Through partnerships with the community, we've made a lot of progress over the last 3 years. For the first time in 20 years, we comprehensively updated our street tree inventory, meaning we now have current information on our 125,000 street trees. For the first time, we have a catalog for our 96,000 available planting spaces, making long-range, equitable planting achievable. We've invested in Columbus Recreations and Parks Department Forestry Section, increasing the number of staff who work every day to care for our city's trees. They planted over 3,000 trees last year, with 67% in high-need neighborhoods. We've made great strides to implement this important plan, but we cannot achieve our ambitious goals without help from the community. By adding these 42 trees to our canopy, the Social Justice Park is taking us closer to reaching our major goal of 40% coverage by 2050. I thank the First Congressional Church of Columbus, Alejandro Rodriguez, Mike Curtin, the park's board members and trustees, Tom Worley, and everyone else involved in making this tree dedication happen. Today, you are helping us make Columbus a greener, healthier place for generations to come. Now let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
This is just another reason why I'm proud to call the Columbus area home. It is great to live in a community that cares as much as we do. And I also have to say, it's amazing to look behind me at the way these trees are growing and to think how much bigger they are than when this park was dedicated. So it's just beautiful to see. Our next speaker this afternoon is Diane Jackson from the Rhema Justice Ministry. Welcome, Diane.
I am the co-captain of the Justice Ministry at Rhema Christian Center, but I'm representing Bread today. I have so much to say before I even start my speech because, Alejandro, when you were talking about the trees, look how they're just listening to the conversation, how alive they are. I mean, I just want to personify them. Rabbi, you had me with Passover. I just want to say, Pharaoh, let our people go. I just want to say to Pastor Aarons, you chose a wonderful day for such a dedication. I could just go on and on. And Chelsea, you've got your toes out. You look beautiful. You did a great job. I have to wear stockings because I haven't had a pedicure yet. But that's okay. I brought me some soft shoes. I want to walk around and look at these trees. But can't you just see them hovering over? It's like, what are they saying about us? I just think that's so beautiful. So, you know, my name is Diane Jackson, and I am a member of the Bread organization. I served on the steering committee, and you know already how delighted I am to be here. I actually went to church today and served in the nursery ministry. So I didn't get a chance to have this wonderful food, but I got here as quickly as I could because our children, not only our trees, but our children are our future as well. And that was a very important ministry for me. So I'm really glad to be here. I am grateful for this opportunity to speak about today's tree dedication ceremony. Bread, if you don't know, is a coalition of 44 religious congregations that are very diverse in the Franklin County area. We have been working together since 1996 to bring thousands of people together each year to push for solutions for serious problems in our community. I'd like to start in my faith tradition with a scripture. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verses 7 and 8, and this is in the Amplified Version. Blessed with spiritual security is the man who believes and trusts in and relies on the Lord, and whose hope and confident expectation is the Lord. For he will be nourished like a tree planted by the waters, that spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear the heat when it comes, and its leaves will be green and moist, and it will not be anxious and concerned in a year of drought, nor stop bearing fruit. Thus our trees. Trees. They're my friends, can you tell? Trees represent growth, resilience, and life, like each one of you. Through the planting of trees and the visual strength that they provide, let us continue to stand for fairness for all. They remind us to be hopeful even in the face of adversity and injustice. And when Alejandro was saying that this is the 5th anniversary of the Social Justice Park, I thought about the number 5, the number for grace. The grace of God is with us to go forth and fight for these trees. These 40 trees that we see planted around us in honor of so many leaders in our community remind us of the rich heritage and legacy for justice that exists right here in Central Ohio. In fact, as we think about the amazing leadership of people like the Reverend Dr. Washington Gladden, of whom the park is named, we know that we have to continue the work they started. Correct? Are you with me? Yes. When you think of the environmental impact of trees, they are a triple threat. A few years ago in the BREAD organization, our research, because we do a lot of research, showed that one of the best solutions to our local environmental issues is trees. Trees absorb rainfall, filter pollutants from industries and highways, and reduce heat through shade and evaporation. Did you know that one large tree can absorb 500 to 4,000 gallons of storm water annually and produce enough oxygen for a family of 4? Did you know that it can have the cooling, one large tree can have the cooling effect of 10 room-sized air conditioners? It would take a newly planted tree 25 to 30 years to provide these same benefits. And this is all listed in the city's urban forestry master plan. Tree canopy can also remove up to 60% of street level pollution and particulate matter. Columbus has less tree coverage than cities of comparable size and development, and 70% of our existing tree canopy, is on privately owned land. Communities like Franklinton, Milo Grogan, and the South Side, 18% on the South Side, are well below the city average. Through BREAD's work, as we can finally celebrate the passing through City Council of a public tree protection ordinance, which was passed this past December, laying the groundwork for the upcoming ordinance about trees on private land that we're still working hard to push for. And this is a real opportunity for me they call it a shameless plug, but it's not shameless, it's a glorious plug for what's going to be taking place on the fairgrounds on May the 21st, the Nehemiah Action. You may have heard of it. If you want to know more about it, you can come and see me, but it's going to be at 6:45 on the fairgrounds in the Celeste Center, and we are inviting government officials, and we are holding them accountable for changes that we want in our city. And this is an opportunity for you to come and be a part of that. We are believing for over 2,500 people to come, and you can come and bring your neighbors and bring your families and join us. Our work is not over. It's not over. We need more of you to come together, more of us to come together and stand not only for environmental justice, but for solutions to the other societal ills of our day. Just like the people we honor today with these 40 trees, we cannot rest until there is more racial justice, more affordable housing, stronger educational systems, better wages for all workers, and so much more. I would like to thank you all for this opportunity to speak to you. I want to congratulate First Congregational United Church of Christ on this milestone today. And in closing, I just want to say, trees protect us. We protect trees. Thank you very much.
Diane Jackson, I don't know where you've been all my life, but I know that someone who hugs on first greeting is someone I want to get to know more. And for those politicians that you face up against with BREAD, I'm sure you'll have your way with them. Thank you. We're going to read the names for which the trees are dedicated. And as we do that, we're going to fill this tree here with leaves. And so I invite youth and young at heart to help us with this. So if you would come forward as I invite our one of my fellow board trustees and governing members, Yvette McGee Brown. She will introduce our other members who will read the names. So if you're young or young at heart, come on up here.
Hello, good afternoon. Reverend Tim, I was just going to say, I was thinking, Diane, I remember when Bread got started with Reverend Edgar, because I was in public office then, and you guys sent fear through all of downtown Columbus, because Bread, you're hugging trees now, but man, Bread was taking no prisoners, and I still think they're not, but we all stood up and listened, because Reverend Edgar would not allow us to do otherwise. So one, thank you for your remarks. Reverend Tim, thank you for having us here. 5 years ago, the weather was not quite so nice. Rabbi Berman, and to Tom Worley, wherever he is, our fearless leader, helping us get this entire social justice park started. So I'm going to read the names, and for those of you that are going to start putting leaves on the tree, please. So we'll start with Pastor Tim Ahrens. Eunice Banks, who is my grandmother. Slow down. Okay. All right. So wait for you to put them up. Because I was told by Mrs. Mycrans to be fast. Okay. All right. So Eunice Banks. Eunice is my grandmother. Otto Beatty Jr. in his wonderful memory. Jennifer Butler. Community volunteers. Jan Cook. Jean and Pauline Danke. Jacob Dorn. Encova Insurance, where I am proud to serve on the board of directors. Don Erickson. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Imran Malik, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was inducted into the Columbus City Hall of Fame recently, to read the rest of the names.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum and peace be with you all. It's a beautiful day, and I'm going to take away from, I think, Tim's remarks that every time we have gathered here in the last 5 years, it always rains. But luckily, today is a pleasant day, and hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed, I won't jinx that. It's my honor to go ahead and announce the names of the other folks who have actually volunteered and dedicated the trees. I hope I do justice to the names, so please bear with me, and I apologize in advance if I butcher the name, so please. Jim Fulos. Wally Giffen. Annie Glenn. Al and Barbara Glover. Rutherford Hayes, sorry. Alan Charles Hodgson. Nancy Jeffrey. Tad Jeffrey. Michael Mish. Christopher Mandut. And now it's my pleasure to transition the podium to Ann Wright, please. In your round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you to all of our speakers and especially to all of you who made this park a park today. Parks deserve picnics and picnickers, and look at you. It is my real honor to continue the list now of the additional honorees for each of the 40-plus trees in our park. Peter Shed Mykrantz. Rosa Parks. The original occupant of this corner, Rutherford Platt. His family member, William Augustus Platt. Arlene Reynolds. Second Baptist Church pastors. Here she is, right here. Jenkins Smith. Valerie Stitcher. Michael Unger. James and Ethel Warren. Mary Weaver. Her granddaughter adds that leaf to the tree. And one that is so recent it's not even in your program, my dear family member, Agnes Shed Andrea. As Diane invoked, and we now see on our paper 2D tree to your right, look above to the real trees, each brought to you by a loving family member, friend, congregant, believer. We bring you 45 trees to the canopy of Columbus, each with a message and an honoree, so marked so that we can reflect alone with those trees or gather again with picnics on our laps. Thanks be to God.
That was cool, so cool to hear some of those names who are dear friends and historical names as well. What a treat to be able to honor them here today. So I will confess I had a lapse in judgment a little earlier today. Our next presenters are going to do a poetry reading, and I thought maybe their father would like to introduce them. And then I remembered they're young teenagers, and no, they don't want their father to introduce them. So would you please help me in welcoming Hassan and Ryan Ali Malik?
Hello, my name is Rayon Ali Malik, and I'm a student at Columbus State, and I'm here to tell you two poems. Trees are an important part of Earth's environment. They are not only the natural purifiers of our atmosphere. That intakes our carbon dioxide and provides us with fresh oxygen for life on our planet Earth, but trees are also a source of keeping record of our time as people come and people go. They are the record keeper and measure the seasons and changes left behind. These two short poems by Annette Wayne are the testimony to these facts and our natural connection to trees around us that are a source of life on Earth. To an old tree by Annette Wayne. The tree must stand, it cannot run. Whatever comes of snow or sun, it has to bear, it has no fears. Knowing not to regret, nor tears, it stands and stretches to the sky, without a murmur, plaint, or sigh. This has stood 1,000 years and seen 10,000 storms go by. The tree stands very straight and still by Annette Wayne. The tree stands very straight and still all night long, for on the hill. But if I go and listen near, a million little sounds I hear. This leaves a little whispering elves, talking, playing by themselves, playing softly all together in the warm or windy weather, talking softly to the sky, or any bird that dartless by. O little elves within the tree, is there no word to tell to me? Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Hasnan Malik. I'm a fourth-year political science major at The Ohio State University. Caring for our environment, and specifically trees, is an important part of our faith and social responsibility. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, "Whoever plants a tree and is patient and caring in the persevering of it until it bears fruit, God Almighty will reward them for every good deed." Trees are a living example of God's nonstop creativity and existence. This message is resonated in the words of Joyce Kilmer's sonnet, "The Trees." I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hunger mouth is present against the sweet earth's flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who innately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. On the same note, planting trees is a source of charity in Islam. Trees not only benefit our ecosystem, but also add color and host life, as well as flourish inspiration from their roots to leaves. The Poet Tree by Sheil Silverstein. Underneath the poet tree, came and rest a while with me, and watch the way the word web weaves. Beneath the shady story leaves, the branch of the poet tree. Reach from the mountains to the sea, so come and sit and learn and climb. Just don't get hit by falling rhymes. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Before I invite Pastor Tim Ahrens up to the lectern to give our closing prayer, let me offer some appreciation to a few folks that helped make this event possible. First, Bev Cook. Thank you so much, Bev. Lark Signs, Nicolette Cinematographics, Nick DeFrancisco, and then our Gladden Social Justice Park architects, Architectural Gardens, and Schreiber and Associates. Please help me extend appreciation to them. And also to all my fellow board trustees and governing board members, thank you for all you do to make this park a reality. So it is now my honor to introduce my pastor and friend, to close us and send us on our way. Pastor Reverend Dr. Tim Ahrens.
It's good to be here today. We had, as Alejandro was saying, over 70 people at Temple Hills, which is in Belleville, Ohio, and it was a mixed kind of weekend because we said goodbye to the camp. The camp is being sold like other church camps have been sold, ours included, at Pilgrim Hills some years ago. So I worry about our children and their chance to run free and their chance to be in nature and their chance to just be able to be around and hug a tree. And I told them all they needed to hug trees this weekend, and they did. It was great. I said, pick a tree that you can get your arms around or not. And a couple of them joined a couple hands together, so 3 or 4 together around one of the trees. But I think it's very important that they learn that we have life because of the trees. There's so much that they give to us. What many of you don't know is I started out at Macalester College, where Todd also went, Todd Jacobson, to be an environmental lawyer. Then God got a hold of me. But I have had a passion all my life for environmental concerns and environmental justice issues. So this park and all of you who've made this happen, Charlie and Michael and Tom. Where are you, Tom? You were Tom. Where's Tom now? Oh, way over there. Hi, Tom, in the back row as usual. Thank you, Tom. Tom Worley makes it happen here. I want us to make a special thank you to Tom Worley. Thank you. One of my children, Danny, who's been in Brooklyn for some time now, I got out of the car just a little while ago and looked at the trees and said, whoa, they've grown. I mean, you're away from trees and they grow like the kids do. So it's beautiful. So some of you are melting in the sun, so it's time for me to wrap it up. But I do want to tell you that it is nice to be here on a beautiful, beautiful day, a day that should belong to nature and that nature invites us into, so that we can be participants in the health and the future of the earth that we care about. But I want to say that on the day that has been mentioned several times, on that day we not only had rain and hail, a little bit of snow, but sitting here before it all started, Loanne Crane said to me, she said, we're not seriously going to stay outside if it keeps raining like this. And she was the first one there. So those of you who know her, she was the first one there. And I said, what would Tad Jeffrey do? And I don't want to repeat every word that she said after that. But the concluding part of the sentence was, he would be out in the rain. So Tad, we know you'd be out in the sun too, and Nancy as well. But on that day that all the elements hit, my grandson Benton turned to my wife and Susan and said, Mom, Grandma, he said, we've gotten the rain, we've gotten the hail, we've gotten the sun and the wind. It's God who sent them all, isn't it? And she said, that's right. And he said, blessed be God for all the things he gives us. So whatever it is, we should be giving thanks to God this day. Let us join in prayer. Gracious and ever-loving, ever-living God, we do thank you that you had the brilliance to create a tree and put it on this planet and grow it and show us what beauty looks like. On this day, the people that you planted here that are remembered in the dedication of these trees also are those that you gave to us to help us remember what beauty looks like, what life and love look like. And we give thanks for every single one of them, living and dead, who have shown us a better way in this world. We ask this day, Lord, that as we dedicate these trees, we also dedicate ourselves to the work of justice, so that it's not said of Columbus that we are a desert, for trees, but rather that we are the flourishing place of the future of life in this Midwest city. We ask, Lord, that to do that, we all work together for good as we love you and one another, and may you shine down on us and help us to remember why we're here, and for the children that come after us and their children and the generations to come. Let us always remember this day as lifting up the memory of those who brought us here and carrying forth the vision of those who walk with us into the future. We pray this all in your mighty name. Amen. Thank you.